Hi everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw hands. Okay, pencils and Sharpies and more Sharpies this time. So because I'm going to be showing you some sketches, I'm going to sketch with some Sharpies as well just so you can see a little bit better. So one of the things I'm going to try to get you to understand in doing my drawings and the way I do it, the way I draw, is I sketch. And in other words, in hands, I'm not going to sit here and draw a hand like that on the side. No, I'm going to sketch out this, I'm going to do that, because I want to try to throw a bunch of lines in, because I see it, I know where it is, I see what I want to do, and I want to draw a whole bunch of lines until I get the look I'm going for, right? So in other words, I can't just start drawing around the finger like this and drawing around, or I can, but you got to have these sketches first to guide you, to tell you where it's going to be, you know? So I'm going to kind of show you how I think of hands and what helps me to get into this place. But I want you to see a little bit better. So let's try it with some Sharpies. So here's a good example. Here's the hand that we're going to be drawing. So basically I'm going to be drawing with this. I'm kind of breaking it into shapes. And I see three shapes there because I think of the way it bends. This is one shape. There's another because it bends in right there. And then there's another right there. So I kind of look at it like, you can look at your hand, and that's the best way to come up with a model, is think of that piece there, think of this piece there, and think of this piece there. So see how I just kind of threw stuff out there? I didn't try to do it exactly. Basically, these are the pieces you're working with, right? And you don't want to do this because that's blocks, that doesn't work. You just think of the different sections, like fingers, different sections, and you just kind of play around with what those parts are. And then I kind of throw lines around to say, okay, that feels more like a hand to me than a bunch of squares like this. So once I get those meaty parts right there, then I kind of play with, okay, the fingers are going to be like this, and I know the heights are about like that, so I'm kind of playing around with how high the fingers are going to be, where the middle sections are going to be, and how far they're coming out. So I'm just kind of playing with lines until I get them in about the right position that I want them to be in, right? And so that's kind of what I want you to get into the habit of, is sketching. No more of this just solid line, just following like that. Sketch out what you're going to do and where you're going to take this. So see, I just threw a whole bunch of lines down just trying to figure out where it's going to go, but you can see it already. See, you can see where this is going just by those crazy scraggly lines of where it's going to take you. Okay? So, that being said, now you can play around with your hard edge lines. And this still isn't even perfect either. This is just me playing around with where the lines can take you, you know? So, once you have that being said, now you can go back and you can do your hard lines. So you just pick a spot and you decide where your edge is going to be. Okay, now you can add your defining lines, your hard edges. Okay? So kind of get into the habit of sketching and taking yourself into a whole bunch of different lines just to take you to where you think it needs to go. And so, like I said, even this isn't perfect. I'm just showing you a way to do this with pencils, with pens, with Sharpies and whatnot. And that'll get you to a hand place. And so you also have, palm prints, palm lines that you can kind of play around with to define your hand and the look of it, you know? Because you have, all these palm lines that have where your hand creases and stuff like this. So that'll help you too to define where you're going to go. So hopefully that helps you. Just understanding and learning that you want to try to play around with where it goes. So that being said, talking about this, remember there's a couple of squares that define your palm. Then remember you've got blocks. I know this is not right, but blocks for your fingers, So think of it like that. And so now that you've got these building blocks, again, this isn't perfect. Look how way off that is. Now that you've got these building blocks, you can remember that by moving these blocks, you can get different positions. So now we're going to play around with a dynamic hand. So we're going to take, let's see, let's do one way over here. We're going to take a hand, and I'm just going to do, again, the quick blocks. You know, just different sections. This one out here like this. Right, okay, so there we go. So that's our hand. So now, think of it like, let's see, so we're going to do the hand down at you. So, that being said, we're going to do this one like this. And you kind of have to think of, in 3D, the way... So see, now it looks squished, but it's actually... The hand is now facing you like this. I know that's really super 3D, but what I'm saying is now that you've got like that, you got to understand that these are going to be shortened too. And even though it looks squashed, that was not, because that was not facing at you. Even though it looks squashed, that's a more dynamic hand facing at you, as opposed to straight up. And so when you go with this way, you got to remember that you can draw a hand more at an angle coming at you. You see what I'm saying? So now it's more like this. So in doing that, I know that looks like weird and squishy, but when you think of, like, let's say that's facing that way, your arm's back here, your hand's at you, and then, you know, see, so you see what I'm saying? By itself, it's a strange context, but when you see it all together in the bigger picture, well, the hand is now pointed at you, and, you know, old Doctor Strange is now, you know, casting a magic spell at you. You know what I mean? So, you just take your 3D parts and you place them in different positions for the place that you want to take the hand. So, like I said, if you think of it in squares, think of it in shapes, and start placing them in different places, that's how you're going to get a dynamic hand. So let's do that with like a dynamic hand, something like this. I know you can't quite see it, but something like this. So let's take those squares and we're going to play around with just quick movements, quick shapes. All right. So you already see where I'm going with this, that it's not this, it's this, and it's more, in a different flow. And so maybe that's another way to think of it, is like flow, you know, like we want to try to get into a movement, you know? Okay, so you see where I'm going with this now? Do you see where I kind of have it in a different position and where it's going to take us? So now that I have a sketch like this, you think of the circles, or the there, like that. Let me see if I can show it to you like that. So there's your finger, right? In the digits. And as it bends, now you have the digits like in front of each other. Like that. Does that make sense? That it's no longer like that. It's now like this. All right? And so you just got to remember to place those over each other, and you know, it's back behind it like that. This one is back behind it like that. But it's what you can see that defines the way the finger is shaped. All right? Like that, bent over. Okay, so that being said, now that we did it like this, do you see where it is now? Do you see how I took this and I kind of curved them and kind of did something like that? And all that was just from sketching. Even as a sketch, you can see it now, can't you? You can see where it was going, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do, trying to get you to understand, is sketch. Don't just start drawing a hand. So if you're going to draw a hand in this position and you're just kind of doing this and you come around and then you draw the finger, you might be able to pull it off. I'm doing it because I'm looking at that, you know, and coming in like this. Okay, not bad. But that's after years of doing this too. And still, that's not perfect. You want to get something a little fleshier, a little better, you know? So I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to pick a place to start. And it's like this. And let's see if I can show you too. Let's draw kind of a fingernail too. That way you'll see where we are with this. So this is the first digit over. And there's another digit right there. And there's one more back behind this one right there that's holding it up. So that's the one that connects to the hand. Okay? So same thing over here. We're going to do this one. This one's more like this. So that means the fingernail is up more. See, the fingernails will help define a few things for you too, like what you can actually see, and how up it's tilted. So you see how my index finger, you can see more of the fingernail. The middle finger, you can see less. Well, that's because it's going up, you know? So you can use little tricks like that to kind of help define where your fingers are and why it looks so weird, you know? Okay, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to connect there. Now, remember I was talking about palm lines too. That's going to help you as well. You can kind of come in and add just a little bit of stress to the hand, because that's what your palm lines are, is where your muscles are bending and have to have a crease to fold. Like right there, you have to have that crease, you know? So again, so we're taking those digits and now we're just going to kind of bend this one down, and I want this down more than the rest because I'm stressing the curve, you know? And so same thing here, we're going to play around with that, the fingernail. And that's not perfect either. I'm just kind of throwing it in real fast. And if you want, you can kind of throw a little bit of the curve of the knuckle. Okay. So this one, okay, so also think of it this way. The knuckles are holding it all together. So there's one knuckle there, another knuckle there, another knuckle there, another knuckle there. So think of it like that. So that's where this last one is going to come in, and you can see it the most. You can see this whole digit, that one, and that one, because the way I have it like super stressed out like that. So super exaggerated to show the magic that's going on, you know, the I don't know, stress, I guess is what I'm trying to say, you know, the dynamicness of it. Okay, and so I've got one digit like that. I've got another one like this, and that's the middle knuckle, so that's connected right there, so that's that last digit. So now we're just going to finish it up, draw the bottom of the hand, come in like this, draw the thumb, and the thumb, I think, should just be stretched out, because that's something like that, you know? That's the whole, the meat of the magic that's going on right here. Okay, a couple little stress lines just to kind of show that there's stress going on here, a little bit of magic, a little bit of dynamicness, and there you go. And that's how you build something like that. But again, it's from sketching. You gotta learn to sketch, because it's the best way to get your ideas down if you're not confident about the line you're going to put down first. If you're confident to draw like this, go for it. If you're not, you don't know what you're doing yet, sketch. That's all I can say. So for the last hand, let's just do a little, you know, little waving hand like this, something like that. So this pinky is going to look a little weird, look a little stubby, but we're going to do a dynamic hand. Okay, so let's do the blocks, you know, just kind of doing something like that, and then kind of playing around with where it's going to go. And again, just throwing it down, just getting a feel for the look of it, basically, is what I'm trying to do. So, all right. So see how it's kind of going to be, you're already getting the idea of where it's going to go. So You just kind of play around where the middle parts are going to be. I'm going to connect it right here. So there's going to be the top digit. Okay, and so see, that right there, I can already get started. I can get going with where I think it's going to go. Because the magic of sketching has taught me that that's all I need. That's going to get me in a giant dynamic place. All right. So now that I have that there, and again, you could do this with pencil and then get darker with another pencil. Now that I have that there, I can go ahead and just play around with. Okay, so I'm going to draw the wrist right there. The hand, or the edge of the hand is going to come in like this. All right. And again, we've got stress lines that can kind of help us define a few little edges to show that. Ooh, let me straighten that out too. Straighten that out to define the stress in the hands, the creases, you know. And sometimes when you're doing stuff like this, creases and stress magnify or show where you're going with the intensity that your hand is causing. So see, this finger is straight out, and I'm kind of doing something like this. Okay, so then I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to play around with that knuckle a little bit. And so also see how I'm just kind of making it up too. I'm kind of not really following 100% what I did, but I am following the idea. So here, remember, we gotta let's go ahead and draw the nail, if that'll help you see where we're going with this. So something like that. Okay, there we go, in case you get lost. So that means we're gonna have a digit right here. The main one was like this, another one is behind it like that, and then the long one is holding it up like that. All right, so again, here you can leave it like that, or you can play around with stress lines, just to show, like I said, the dynamic of your stressed hand. And I know it's not, you can't see it as well because I guess I should have got a lighter marker, but this is just to help you understand that sketching is going to get you miles and miles and miles of power and practice. Okay. All right. I say that's good. So practice that. So practice your dynamic hands, practice your sketching, and then we'll do more later. But yeah, for now, those are dynamic hands. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.